Welcome back to the 700 Club. It's time for your questions and some honest answers from Pat. Let's start with Anna. She writes in, Dear Pat, my boyfriend lives in New Mexico and I live in Michigan. He visits me 4 months out of the year. Is there anything wrong with him staying at my home when he visits if we don't have sex? I'm divorced and my children are older and don't live at home. My friend says if it looks like I'm doing something wrong, then I should not do it. What do you think, Pat?
Well, you know, the King James says avoid every appearance of evil, but the actual Greek says avoid every form of evil. I don't see anything wrong with your boyfriend living in the house, but I'm telling you, you are subjecting yourself to terrible temptation. I mean, you've been married. He is, you know, a strong American male, and he has hormones, and the two of you, I mean, you're just asking for difficulty. Why don't you get married? I really think this situation is not a good one. Him living in New Mexico, you're in Michigan. I think it'd be better if you got married, even if you had a marriage that was, you know, off and on, where your husband lived out of state for a while. But I think you're just asking for trouble. But is there anything wrong with it? Well, it's just foolish, but no, there's nothing that I can see wrong with it. All right.
Yeah, that's a great answer. I didn't even think of that. Yeah, he needs to just man up, give her the ring.
And get married, yeah.
All right. Here's one viewer says, my father-in-law passed away before he and his second wife divorced. They were in the process of divorcing. They had a short marriage of 6 years. She works, is in good health, has a home and 2 well-educated children. My husband, as his only child, inherited everything. She is already dating another man, but is suing us for a lot of money so she will be well looked after in her old age. As Christians, is she really our responsibility?
I don't really think so, but it's a question of, you know, the circumstances. But, you know, maybe it was sort of a deal. Depends on how much money you're getting, and could you offer her a smaller sum and say, look, how about we're giving you $10,000 or $50,000 or whatever, and you go away. The answer is your husband decided what to do. He left the money to his children. They have an absolute right to it. And, you know, wasn't it Hirsch that said, I'm only going to give my inheritance to blood, not to to a wife. So, I mean, you asked, do you have an obligation to a short-term stepmother? The answer, not really. Okay, but again, work out the circumstances, and if you can make an accommodation to take care of everybody, it's a better thing than going to court and fighting it.
Get a good lawyer.
Get a lawyer.
All right, this viewer says, my stepmother sexually abused me when I was a child, while my dad was being responsible providing for his family. Why does the Christian church refuse to talk to a mother about responsibility on Mother's Day like they do with dads on Father's Day? The police have told me that even though I am now in my 40s, all I have to do is tell them my former stepmother's name and she would be arrested. My pastor tells me to turn the other cheek. What do you say? I need your advice.
I think I'll forget it and get your life going. She did a terrible thing. You don't normally find a woman as a sexual molester. It's usually a male. But you're right, you can have her arrested and put in jail. Those things just go on and on and on, but you're better just forgive and get on with life. What is my advice? That's my advice. You have a whole future ahead of you. Don't spend it on the past, and don't be harboring hatred, even though you have a legitimate reason to do something. All right, Les.
Amen. All right, Michelle says, I have a question regarding spanking children. I want to know if it's okay for parents to spank their kids when they misbehave. Personally, I believe it is not, but my mother told me that somewhere in the Bible it says it's okay. What do you think?
Not somewhere. It's very, you know, spare the rod and spoil the child. You know, the rod of reproof. Folly is bound up in the heart of a child, and the rod of reproof drives it far from him. The whole idea of corporal punishment is certainly clear in the Bible, but you don't want to overdo it. I mean, the idea that you want to abuse a child is a different matter. than a couple of swats with a switch or something. I think there are many watching this program right now. You know what it's like as a youngster. If you misbehave, you know, a couple of swats. And the big thing is that you don't want to leave the child permanently damaged. You want to say, look, I love you, and we want to pray about it. But you did something wrong, and you need to learn that you pay the price for it.